Hey Gary, I'm out on my patio where I've got a couple boxes of eggplants planted last week, or this week actually. It's a bit late in the season, but I had to change out all the dirt in it anyway because I had done like 4 generations or so worth of peas and they were starting to kind of come up short. So I figured might as well try and sneak something in before the beginning of winter, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have some eggplants late in the fall. Or maybe I just threw 3 seeds in the dirt for nothing. Either way, no harm, no foul, I figure. But yeah, it's been a while, so I thought I'd come out here because it's relatively nice out. And do a little video to, I guess, catch up again. Tons has been going on, as is always the case. And I guess my final wrap on our long and continued discussion about the political season and the presidential election at this point is I think I've finally come to a decision which I think you can be happy with and I can be happy with, and that is I've decided just recently actually to be voting for Hillary Clinton, and to try and I'm still figuring out this on whether or not I'll have time to do this, but to try and do as much actual activism to support as possible in terms of door knocking. I don't have a lot of money to do fundraising, and honestly she doesn't need my money because she gets plenty from elsewhere, but which is a problem for me. But yeah, I was thinking about actually doing like calling and door knocking and stuff like that. And the reason why I've come to this decision after a long and tortured process for me is I've decided, not that I really support Hillary Clinton in the traditional sense, but I think it's important to run up the score this time. And the reason why I think that is because I think there's a real opportunity with defeating Donald Trump. Not only defeating him, but defeating him badly, like more than 10% of the popular vote. Like if he won like 8 states in the Electoral College, that would be great, because for a couple of reasons, it would take like the super hardcore base of the Republican Party and it would show them that they are not a majority. The silent majority does not exist in the way that they like to categorize it, and that they can't do what they did this time and win, and even come close to winning. And maybe it would kind of break the political deadlock, and maybe it would kind of break, I think, the fever going through the Republican Party right now of whatever like crazy nationalistic, populistic, nativist, naive politics they've been running with. Like, it might force them to decide, hey, we have to stop doing this. And that would be good, because in the end, as much as like I generally support liberal policies in the Democratic Party generally on most issues here or there more than not, in the end you need a good opposition party for our government to function efficiently. Like, I don't hold, I guess, the notion that wouldn't it be lovely if Democrats just had control, a supermajority in Congress, and stacked the Supreme Court and had the presidency forever. Like, that's not necessarily a good thing either, and I get that. So I want a good opposition, and I think running up the score against Donald Trump might be a way to do that, I guess. So that's kind of where I think finally arrived at as a valid and valuable reason to support Hillary more than just voting for her to stop Trump, because I guess I have to do this. Like, I'd like to really like stomp him in the dirt in the election. The problem is going to be he's already teaching his base that it's just a rigged system, so if he loses, it's not his fault. It's not that that they're not a majority, or that they're wrong, or that they can't win elections like this. It's just that, Obama and the Democrats cheated. So he's already going that route, which is super problematic for, I guess, my idea of things. But I like to think that, running up the score and being able to kind of verify that it wasn't a rigged election, although there are problems with our elections as always, but like that would be, I think, useful, I guess. More interesting to me now, then, that I've kind of come to this position, is actually what's going to be happening in the U.S. Senate. I think that's the next big thing that would be lovely if our media would start focusing on, instead of just every stupid thing Trump does. And ignoring the fact that Hillary is just taking a pass on saying or doing anything because she's just letting Trump implode, which is smart for her to do, but our media is just kind of giving her a pass on it. And, you know, what, like she did a news conference last week and it was awful. And she's really bad at answering questions, and she doesn't have a good handle of how to deal with reporters. So, stuff. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, it'd be great if we started focusing more on the Senate, I think. It's going to be really interesting. This week, a bunch of primaries for Congress and the Senate pass. And as they go, I'm guessing you're going to hear a lot more, especially on the Senate, maybe some in the House, a lot more Republicans coming out against Trump. Like Mark Kirk, like Ron Johnson in Wisconsin and Iowa and Illinois. There's a Congress guy in upstate New York who's saying he's voting for Hillary Clinton. It's not just like Trump says stupid shit and I don't like him. Like he's voting for Clinton. And that's a political move on his part more than anything else. But you're going to see a lot of that once the primaries are done. People will feel safe from their base to take the safe position in the general, which is like fuck Trump. So that's going to be coming out soon, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see if Trump ever kind of gets a handle for how to do politics in America, because really he doesn't get it a lot at this point. He's just kind of swinging and missing most of the time. But yeah, that's I guess my interest and things at the moment. But yeah, otherwise it's just kind of a quiet Sunday, I guess. I'm not drinking anything right now. I know it's late to get into this in the video for our formatting purposes, but I've kind of had to stop spending a ton of money on booze recently because my car has had 3 oil leaks in the last year. And the last one, which was like 2 weeks ago, I took it in for 4 days and had it fixed. Cost $1,400. So yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think I need to look into getting another car, because like I know I need to get the timing belt done on my car in the next 20,000 miles or so, which isn't a long way off in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, there's been a lot of work put in on this thing, so I'm thinking I might need to look into getting another car. I really want to get something electric, but research on that, it looks like it's either going to be expensive or it's not going to be really doable, since I live in an apartment and I can't put in a charging station in my garage because they have to be professionally installed, and I don't think my apartment complex would like that. But yeah, I was thinking about the Chevy Volt, the one with the gas generator to replenish the batteries, but I don't know. I would lease, I would not buy. Take a 2-year lease on that. That's my thought. I'm curious to what you think of like the state of electric cars at this point. Because yeah, I want to do something. The Volt seems like it's the only thing that has range, has flexibility. It has a charging system where you can just plug it into a wall. It takes a long time, like more than 12 hours to fully charge at that point. But if you do like maintenance charging every night, it wouldn't be too bad. And from a 2-year lease perspective, I don't think, supposedly the costs aren't that bad. That's like $200 a month, which is pretty good for a car payment in the grand scheme of things. Like if I bought a car, it'd be about the same. So I could lease something and, you know, in a couple of years, see what else is on the market, see what other options are available. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think of the state of electric cars before you can get your hands on the $30,000 Tesla, I suppose? Because that's what I'm thinking about, is if I can get a fully electric. Most of the ranges aren't that good, like under 100 miles for the fully electric ones, and it's like I could never go visit my parents like that because they're, you know, like 600 miles away. It would be like a 3-day trip to drive there, and that means I'd have to fly, I guess, and I don't know, that's a bit more costly than I can afford to do. So yeah, that's my thinking on that at this point. The Chevy Volt, because of the gas generator, might be kind of a halfway step until a better electric car comes out. But yeah, I guess I'll cut it off now, and well, I'll talk to you later.